Alright lads and lasses, I'm Xcentric, and what we've got here is another Bowser community on Forza Horizon 5, this time with post-commentary. Like I said in the previous one, if you do prefer the live commentary, or if you prefer post-commentary, do let me know. Anyways, enough of that. We've got here A-class rear-wheel drive cars on sport tyres, at least I think it had to be rear-wheel drive. Sport tyres was the main thing. Anyway, so, because I was strapped for time, Ben politely built me this. The Cadillac, is it an ATS? Well, it's a Cadillac with the Forza edition body kit. You know, 582 horsepower. The car weighed 1,300 and some kilos. I think it was slightly less than 1,350 kilos. Either way, I digress. First race, we were headed to Tierra Prospera. Had a really nice grid position, actually, starting in second place. Got very well off the line, and yeah, it's the current battle, me versus Steve. It's happened quite a bit. Usually it's the other way around, to be honest. Steve's usually ahead of me. I'm not normally at the front. But yes, good grid position, and there was a big strength with the Cadillac and the Ferrari. The Ferrari, as you can see there, a little bit quicker in the straight line compared to my Cadillac, but the Cadillac was better through the corners due to the fact that it had, well, A, aero, and B, wider tyres. Yes, the aero was tuned to be minimum, but it had just much wider tyres. I think at the back we were looking at 3.45s and at the front 2.55s. So yeah, we've got incredibly big tyres in a car that, well, you know, it's not the easiest to build this thing, considering it starts, I think sort of 530 PI, not 530, basically 30 PI into A-class. Yeah, and to be honest, I was having to fend like mad from Steve. You know, at points at Tierra, Steve would catch up, particularly the points where those more top speed areas, like down here, and after this little complex section, and through the complex section, and some of the more corner-intensive areas, like I was gaining a little bit of time, but I could never ever shake Steve. He was just hanging on to there. We were dropping the other people in the field. As you can see, we've got a nice little healthy gap to third place, which is still guns. We were dropping them at quite a decent rate, but we were just so close together that if a mistake would happen, then Steve would close up massively. And then if Steve made a mistake, I would get away massively. But really, we were always within about 1 second of each other, just pace-wise. I don't know why I said pace like that. But yeah, it pretty much just stuck like that. Steve would get close and then go a little bit far, but I could never really outrun Steve. But enough was enough. I did manage to take the victory, with Steve taking second place. I think third place went to Still Guns. Indeed it was, with the Countach, and you can see the lap times. Both me and Steve were 1 second quicker than everyone else. That Ferrari would put my Cadillac through the paces. Race 2, I may have forgot to actually record the first lap, which was stupid of me. Yeah, this is why it's just me. Because I started in 8th place, managed to make my way into 2nd. Basically, I managed to make my way to the front in lap 1. Yeah. Sport tyres, it's an interesting thing to drive off-road. You really do feel the lack of grip being on sport tyres, considering, well, stock tyres are a lot better than it on dirt. So, yeah, it was interesting to drive. A lot less grip, a lot more oversteer, a lot more understeer at the same time as well. But my Cadillac, just with its wide tyres, yeah, it just has a huge advantage. And you can see PERS just dropping away quickly as my Cadillac was dealing with it okay. That was the main thing. I was actually dealing with it all right. Excuse me. Obviously, you know, in an ideal world, this Cadillac would be on off-road race, but, you know, that was the restriction. Had to be on sport tyres. And after lap 2, yeah, I ran away. I absolutely ran away, and I didn't realise how quickly I would be running away. As you can see, my best lap there was a 1 minute 24.3. That was 3 seconds faster than anyone else on this track. I think this track was River? Actually, no, I cannot remember. La Selva, there we go. Yeah, I was 3 seconds quicker than everyone else around there. It was absolutely bonkers how insanely quick this Cadillac was. PERS would take second, with Steve not being able to get through the field as quickly as me. Steve did manage to do 125.6 in the end. It was absolutely mental. So, for race 3, we headed to the Lookout Circuit. Men did join in with the 356 Amori Porsche. So that thing was, it's just going to be mental acceleration. I started in 3rd with Steve right behind me. So, I knew this would have to be sort of a challenging race. Yes, this track does suit my Cadillac more than that Ferrari, just because of the much higher speed corners and things like that. Then, it really struggled to get off the line. He basically said that if he was not in 4th, the car would barely move, so he had to quickly get his way into 4th gear and then launch. There you are. You can see the strength of that Ferrari Testarossa just being that little bit quicker in the straights. However, my Cadillac, it was just much better through the corners by a noticeable amount. I did understeer wide into the tree, admittedly, but you can see the gap I did manage to pull a little bit once we were through the corners, but then Steve does reel it back a little bit through that section. Basically, it is flat out with decent gripped cars. With these cars and sport tyres, it was pretty much flat out for a fair few of us, especially me and Steve. I think Ren's was a little bit on the twitchy side, but he could make that corner flat out of the final hairpin out into lap 2. And we were close. The top 3 were starting to run away a little bit. I have to think about sort of sitting in the middle of the track to try and defend from Steve. He tries to go around the outside, but it's just not going to work whatsoever against the Cadillac. It is just too good handling. And yeah, you can just see the gap I pull from just being able to defend with the better handling car. And the fact that it isn't that much worse down the straights, especially down here with Lookout Circuit, with only one real longish straight. I mean, I suppose you do have, after the never-ending right-hander, turn 1 through whatever, I suppose you do have that section as well where you can get big, where you are able to get a fair bit of speed, but it's still not great. And yeah, this is the main speed advantage. You know, Ferrari had a much better run this time, compared to me, so I was able to actually cut across in front, be able to stick the back end in front of my nose, and I'm just not able to go anywhere. You can see just how compromised I am. I'm pushing Steve constantly through turn 1, but they do understeer a little bit wide. I am at the inside where you have the tiniest of touches, and that actually had a pretty big effect, much bigger than I was expecting, to be honest, when doing this. I was not expecting the fact that Steve would just understeer quite wide from that little tag, but that's just a little danger, especially when you're doing door-to-door racing. If your car is just not as good handling-wise, and just the tiniest of knocks will have a big impact. Like, say if I was on the outside instead of Steve, I would get off that contact just better, considering, well, my car is just better through the corner, so it wouldn't affect me anywhere as drastically. However, once I did manage to get to the inside, Ren was sort of sitting in all of this. However, Ren was never really able to actually take advantage of the fact that me and Steve were actually fighting. Was never able to do it, so that just allowed us to run away. Night would fall, sorry. However, it would be 3 out of 5 wins for the Cadillac, with Steve taking another 2nd place. Ren would take 3rd in that Porsche, and you can sort of see just in the background there that there was a few of their headlights. Yeah, we were running away big time compared to the other people there. So yeah, I mean, you can see the best laps. They were pretty damn close between the top 3. Race 4, we headed to Caldera with Coffee really struggling to get off the line there with that Nissan. I think that Nissan was silly powerful. I can't remember, because my 581 horsepower was nowhere near the most powerful car here, actually. I think I had sort of middle ground in terms of horsepower compared to a lot of people here, but again, just through the ghost mode, being able to get a fair few positions, and then we come out of ghost mode really at quite a bad point. People struggling for grip big time. Regen was actually in the Corvette, the C4, I think it is, if I'm remembering my Corvette named correctly. Probably not. That Corvette was actually hanging on pretty well. Corvettes are always like a very solid choice. They may not always be the quickest choice. However, a good one is, well, good. That is the main thing. Yeah, Steve did drop a little bit just from a lot of people struggling for grip on the inside. Yeah, it was awful around here. It was not great to drive. My Cadillac wasn't too terrible, I will admit. It was actually quite nice to drive around here. However, fun and functional are two completely different things. And yeah, I mean, I was pulling away a little bit because the Cadillac is just so goddamn good. It was just way too good, really, for this restriction, to be honest. I think, to be honest, the Cadillac is just an extremely strong car in FH5. This car would never have actually crossed my mind to actually build. I think I was probably going to build, if I did have time, I think I was actually thinking about the Sierra Cosworth or something like that. Would never have crossed my mind to build this Cadillac, but now I might actually build a Cadillac for proper. If I do ever, and that is a big ever, do FH5 multiplayer racing. Regen was having to defend from Chipman. Crazy, there was a big battle going on further back that I wish I was a part of, but I was just in clean air, my Cadillac was quicker, and that would be securing my 4th win in the Cadillac. Yeah, it's just too good of a car. It really, really is just a fantastic car. Best laps, I was about half a second quicker than Regen's Corvette, but they were stuck in a battle. It was not quite so simple as me just being able to get away at the front and then just run away. My car was fairly competitive. Well, wasn't overly competitive. You know what I'm trying to say. Race 5, we head to the Moulage circuit. Men didn't load in properly. And, well, we actually managed to finally see Skelarch's car. Skelarch, I think, had the most powerful car here in that Corvette. I think it was rocking like 800 horsepower or something like that. I'm not too sure. But they did manage to fire into the lead with just that ridiculous amount of speed. However, just out of one corner, I managed to meet, well, 2 corners, managed to get that lead back with a little bit of rubbing, but that was just not a great time to go unghosted. I do try my move around the outside here. Scout able to keep it on the inside. However, I'm able to get on the power much better. We do have a little bit of contact going over the curbs as well, and that was just unfortunate for Skelarch. It really did not work out in the slightest yet. That's just the issue with Moulage. That little section, that chicane section there, too wide can work, but not on lap 1 really, not with the street furniture. And with these cars, just general less grip than what you'd probably expect to see more in these. Yeah, it did unfortunately not work out. And Pers with the M1 actually did quite well to get into 2nd place. Almost actually managed to get the position on me, but my Cadillac was just in the way. And yeah, that was it. That was honestly it. That was the closest battle I had, was just an unfortunate takeout with what was it, with Skelarch. But Skelarch did actually manage to get back into 2nd place with that Corvette. So that Corvette was actually very good here, but my Cadillac was just unbeatable. It really was in this restriction. So that would be the first time in a Bowser community that I would win 5 out of the 5 races. I mean, that best at 58.6 I was actually pretty proud of. In fact, I actually do beat it on the final lap. So, to conclude about the Cadillac, absolutely bonkers. It was ridiculously good, this car. Massively, massively good. Yeah, 58.2. Well, there we are. I'm going to call that for a video. I do hope you enjoyed the post commentary. All feedback is appreciated. Like I asked at the other Bowser community, if you do prefer the post commentary, I might do another attempt at this one, because obviously there wasn't too much to commentate over. But if you do prefer the post commentary, I'm more than happy to do the post commentary. If you prefer live commentary, I'll do that anyway. It's completely up to you lot. However, that's going to be it from me. Take care. Oh, before I actually do go, I just remembered, if you do want to take part in this, there'll be an invite link in the description where this event takes place. Join that, and then you'll find your way around. However, that is going to be it from me. Take care, and ciao for now.